It began like an ordinary afternoon in Davie, Florida, the kind of day where people lazily drift into a McDonald's for a quick lunch, not expecting that within moments their world could explode into violence. The sun beat down on the parking lot, the scent of salty fries mixed with the hum of idling cars. But at 1:24 p.m., everything changed. A young man named Marcus Rivera, just 21 years old, walked into that McDonald's to grab his phone. His heart was racing, not from excitement, but from unease. He felt eyes on him, stranger eyes. He glanced up. 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman, emerged from a black SUV idling by the drive-thru. They approached him coolly, too calmly. Marcus frowned, his instincts screaming that something was off. He tried to back away, but they closed in. Without warning, they snatched his phone, demanding it back if he wanted to walk away. Their voices were low, menacing, each word dipped in threats. Marcus hesitated. His phone had GPS, tracking. With it, they could follow him. He weighed his options, but fear locked him in place. They forced him into the SUV. The woman twisted the driver's seat, and the engine roared as the car peeled off. That was when panic overtook Marcus. In the back seat, he strained to open the door, his pulse pounding in his ears. He could taste the adrenaline. His mind raced. Who were these people? Why him? He tried to shout, but the road was noisy and the driver ignored him, their eyes fixed on the horizon ahead. The SUV cut through traffic, crawling at first, then accelerating dangerously fast. Sirens suddenly split the air like knives. Within minutes, a fleet of police vehicles, unmarked cruisers, Broward Sheriff's Office units, Fort Lauderdale PD, flanked the SUV. Marcus's heart hammered as chunks of conversation reached him. Kidnapping in progress. GPS lock from the stolen phone. Do not engage recklessly. The officers weren't playing. They weren't bluffing. A high-speed chase erupted across city roads. The SUV weaved through traffic, narrowly missing cars and pedestrians. Marcus gripped the door, sweat sliding down his temple. He thought about his family, what they would say when he told them he'd been snatched from a McDonald's. He thought about how it all started, his phone, his mistake, his vulnerability. Meanwhile, inside the chase, something else unfolded. The driver, a man named Lamar Perry, seemed jittery, glancing over his shoulder. Beside him, another young adult, Timothy Brown, kept urging Lamar to go faster, to shake the tailing cruisers. In the rear seat, Marcus realized the woman was someone he recognized, Tracy Ross, a shadow from his past, someone who once claimed to care for him, someone he never expected to betray him like this. As they barreled through Fort Lauderdale, the SUV finally lost control. It slammed into a lamppost on a side street in Pompano Beach, metal crumpling, glass flying. All 4 tires screeched as the vehicle came to a violent stop. Panic took over the men and woman, but Marcus froze, his entire body shaking. The doors flew open, the suspect scattered, scrambling into nearby bushes and alleys. Police boxed them in. But just as officers reached the wreckage, something astonishing was uncovered inside the car's trunk. A locked steel case. The detective on the scene called for backup. When they pried it open, what they found inside was more than just stolen goods. It was something that twisted everything Marcus thought he knew about Ross, about Perry, about Brown, and especially about himself. The steel case sat on the cracked pavement, its metallic surface glinting under the Florida sun. Officers exchanged uneasy looks as the lock clattered to the ground. The lid creaked open. And then, silence. A hush so heavy that it felt like the air itself was holding its breath. Inside was a folder stuffed with documents and photos. Photos of Marcus. Not from that day. Not from the McDonald's. From months, even years earlier. Pictures of him at school, at the beach, walking home at night, even sitting in his own bedroom, reading, completely unaware he was being watched. One image made the detective pause. Marcus, sleeping, camera inches from his face. His skin ran cold as the reality hit him. These people had been tracking him long before today. Next to the folder lay several forged IDs, all with Marcus's photo. Different names, different birth dates, a whole collection of fake lives he never asked for. Beneath the stack, wrapped carefully in a sealed envelope, was a USB drive marked only with a black X. Detective Hannah Cole, a veteran investigator with a reputation for relentless determination, felt her instincts roaring. This wasn't random. This wasn't simple kidnapping. Someone needed Marcus, and needed him quietly removed from his life. But why? Marcus sat on the curb, watching police swarm around the wrecked SUV. His hands trembled. "I don't understand," he whispered. "Why me?" Tracy Ross, the woman he once trusted, was pinned to the ground, wrists cuffed tight. She stared directly at Marcus as officers dragged her toward a squad car. Her eyes weren't angry. They were frightened. "Marcus!" she screamed. "They're coming after you! We were trying to save you!" Her voice sliced through him like shattered glass. Save him? From who? Before police could question the suspects, 2 officers called out. The 2 minors involved had vanished. They slipped away during the chaos, gone without a trace. A glaring failure that now put the entire investigation on edge. Someone young, someone small, someone fast, and someone still watching Marcus.
As paramedics checked his injuries, Marcus replayed the last few years in his mind. Small things that never made sense suddenly did. The car that idled outside his apartment, headlights off. The strange clicks on his phone line. The job he lost after a background issue he couldn't explain. The break-in where nothing was stolen. Marcus felt like his life had been stripped, rearranged, rewritten while he wasn't looking. And Tracy's shout echoed endlessly. "We were trying to save you!" Detective Cole approached him gently, but her words were sharp. They had everything they needed to erase you, Marcus. But they didn't kill you. They took you alive. Someone paid them for a reason. Marcus stared up at her, voice barely a whisper. Paid? Who? Cole looked toward the fleeing suspect's trail, jaw tight. Someone who believes you're worth more alive than dead. Suddenly, a phone, Marcus's phone, started ringing. A call coming through the cracked screen. Unknown number. Once, twice, then again, a relentless signal. Officer Ramirez, gloves on, answered. He placed the call on speaker. A distorted voice crackled through the speaker. "This isn't finished. Bring him back." Every officer froze. Then the voice added, cold and final. "He belongs to us." The call ended, and Marcus realized the nightmare wasn't over, it was just beginning. Night fell over Broward County like a warning. Police cars lined the street outside the station, red and blue lights flickering across Marcus's pale face as detectives scrambled to secure the area. He wasn't a victim anymore. He was a target, and whoever wanted him wasn't backing off. Detective Cole placed the steel case on a metal table inside the interrogation room. She opened a folder again, laying out the photos, the forged IDs, the papers stamped with government seals that didn't quite look official. Marcus stared at versions of his face he didn't recognize. Him as a man with a different name, a different life, a different destiny. "What is this?" he demanded, voice shaking. Cole took a breath. "Marcus, your biological father wasn't the man who raised you." Her tone softened. "He worked for a private organization, off the record, off the books. Someone very powerful. When he tried to leave, he disappeared, and whoever he crossed has been watching you ever since." Marcus felt his world tilt. The room spun slightly. He could hear his heartbeat in his ears. Tracy Ross was brought in next, hands still cuffed. A guard stood behind her, but her eyes never left Marcus. "I didn't want to do this to you, but they were coming. They were going to collect you like property. We intercepted the order. Lamar and Timothy owed me. We thought if we took you first, we could figure out what they wanted and then get you out." Marcus stared at her, betrayal and confusion twisting inside him. "So you kidnapped me to protect me?" She nodded, desperate. "You have no idea who you are, Marcus, and they're not done." Before Cole could interrogate her further, a deafening explosion shattered the night. The lights flickered, the building shook, windows burst as officers hit the floor. Smoke swallowed the hallways, the air filled with radios screaming orders and boots pounding the ground. Marcus coughed, disoriented, but Cole yanked him to his feet. "We have to move." She dragged him toward a back exit, shielding him from falling debris. In the chaos, shadowy figures slipped through the smoke, the two runaway miners from the SUV. Their movements were precise, tactical, well-trained. They weren't scared teenagers. They were soldiers. One of them raised a device the size of a phone, pressed a button, and the electronic locks on every cell door clicked open. Suspects in the building started pouring out like a breached dam. Cole fired a warning shot. "Marcus, run!" His legs reacted faster than his brain. He sprinted through a broken side door, lungs burning, ears ringing. He reached the alley behind the station, only to freeze. A sleek, black van waited there, engine running. The driver's side window rolled down.
A man, clean suit, emotionless eyes, stared at Marcus. In his hand was a photo, Marcus as a child, holding a birthday cake with candles. On the back, a single line of text. "You were never lost. You were hidden." Marcus stepped backward, but two figures grabbed him from behind, the miners. They forced him toward the van. Detective Cole stumbled out after him, gun raised, shouting his name through the smoke. But it was too late. The doors slammed shut, tires screeched, the van peeled away into the night, leaving Cole alone in the alley, watching the only witness she had vanish into darkness. Marcus pressed his forehead against the cold metal wall inside, fear and rage twisting in his gut. The suited man finally spoke, voice smooth and poisonous. "Welcome home, Marcus." They thought the kidnapping was the crime. They thought the arrests were the end. But this was only the beginning. If you think this story was intense, you're not ready for what comes next. Make sure you subscribe, because the next case will leave you absolutely speechless.